What is dyslexia? How does the brain learn to read? These are really important questions for literacy teachers to be able to answer. It can be difficult to get information because there's so much information out there and it's not all accurate. So let's start off by separating the facts from the fiction by looking at 6 widely held beliefs. Hi there, I'm Shawna Audet from the Flying Cat Academy. Let's get into it. Widely held belief number 1 is that reading is a natural process. This one is a myth. It is true that we do have brain circuitry that makes speech a natural process, and what that means is if we had a small child and we expose them to people speaking in a certain language, eventually they would speak the language. But this is not true for reading. It's not a natural process in the sense that we don't have brain circuitry that's set for reading. Instead, we have to use a variety of different parts of the brain to make reading happen. This means we need to be taught reading. Widely held belief number 2 is that if we give them time, all kids will eventually learn to read. This is false. It's a myth. And we know this because of widely held belief number 1. We just learned that reading is not a natural process for our brains. It's something that needs to be taught. The truth is, the kids don't magically learn to read on their own. Instruction is necessary. Effective literacy instruction is essential. When it's not in place, we can expect that 66% of the students will struggle with literacy. 30% of the students will suffer from reading failure. When proper instruction is in place in the regular classroom, we can expect that 30% of kids suffering from reading failure to drop to 5%. Widely held belief number 3 is that no matter what you do in terms of reading remediation, the skills of dyslexic kids will always lag behind their non-dyslexic peers. This is false. It's a myth. Can dyslexic kids learn to read as well as other kids? Of course they can, and this has been proven. Dr. Sally Shaywitz did MRI studies on kids that had reading remediations, and some were dyslexic and some were not, and she proved that after these dyslexic kids had access to proper reading remediation using effective programs, the brain scans of the dyslexic students looked almost the same as the non-dyslexic students. This proves that reading remediations have the power to rewire dyslexic brains for reading. Widely held belief number 4 about learning to read is that if you start off at a disadvantage, you're never going to catch up. While it is true that when kids enter kindergarten, there is a great variety in the amount that they know about reading, when you have a kindergarten teacher who's using effective instruction, the gap between those kids who seem like they were at a disadvantage when they first entered, that gap closes. The last widely held belief is one that has been thoroughly debunked. And this was the idea that kids can learn to read by relying on context clues. In classrooms, teachers sometimes would call this the 3 cueing system. They would have the students, hey, you don't know what the word is? Well, look at the picture and make a guess. Or you don't know what the word is? Well, look at the other words around it and make a guess. Or you don't know what the word is? Just make a guess. What we're really teaching the kids to do in that case is not read. We're teaching them obviously to guess, and that's not a good way to do it. So we need effective classroom instruction using proper programs, and we need effective reading remediation that's available to all students who need it, regardless of age or grade level. Why? Because all kids deserve to learn to read. Thanks for watching. This is Shawna Audet from the Flying Cat Academy.